you won millions in the lotto, what would you buy first? Story 1. From Unomansa Penguin 1. Tell nobody. 2. Hire a financial advisor. 3. Book a holiday from work, as many days as they allow. 4. Travel somewhere peaceful so that you have time to think. 5. Work out with your financial advisor how much you can invest at low risk and what the monthly return will be. This is what you'll now live on. Then, work out the impact of purchasing paying off your house debts. Then, how much is left for a slush fund to dip in for fun? 6. Quit your job for some vague made-up reason like pursuing your passion. This sets the precedent that you'll be broke for a few years. 7. If you don't want to tell your partner or the people you will still live with, then white lie to them that you're taking some time to work out what to do because a dead cousin left you some money that isn't groundbreaking, but enough for you to take a break 200K-ish. This will help them understand when you pay off the mortgage or buy a new car or some. Also, if you tell them you're investing it, it will explain to them how you keep getting money each month and why you don't ever go back to work. Change the amount dependent on their level of financial literacy. Hardly anyone will believe you're making 10K a month off of a 200K investment, so make it believable. You can also give them 10K-ish each. They'll be super grateful and it will be your little family secret, making them less likely to spill anything. 8. Don't ever tell extended family how much. Parents can easily become manipulative. Cousins can get really beggy quick. 9. Fix your health. Spend 6 months to a year getting all the physical checked. Get a PT, get a therapist, get a nutritionist. Fix it. 10. Detox your mind. Go on some beautiful trips to wherever you have dreamed of. 11. When you hit Zen in mind and body from above, then pursue your passions. All of them. Enjoy whatever you want, learn whatever you want, build whatever you want. Story 2. All of my time for the rest of my life, by which I mean I would retire. There isn't a single item I can think of that I want. I have a sufficient house and a good enough car. I have too many clothes and too much already in my house. I don't want jewelry or collectibles. But I do sell my time to my employer in exchange for the money that let me get those things. While it was a good and necessary trade, that is the biggest drag on my quality of life right now. So with a multi-million-dollar lottery win, I would purchase all of my remaining time from myself to do with as I please for as long as I live. Story 3. Pay off debt from my incurable stage IV cancer. Such a fun answer, I know. After that's done, maybe a house, so at least my wife and I can be comfortable. Story 4. Safety. Most countries will allow you to emigrate for money. I'd go to one of the ones that align with my beliefs a bit more. Probably Sweden or Denmark or something like that. Story 5. I promised my friends back in high school that I would buy a pirate ship. We would sail around the Caribbean and make my one friend Brandon walk the plank multiple times per day. Now at 40, I think I would still choose this as my first buy. Story 6. I would pull up this link and follow it closely. I have had this saved for years, even though I never play it. Story 7. A bigger house with a nice big yard and go adopt a couple dogs from the shelter. The only reason I don't have dogs right now is lack of a yard and time to properly take care of them. The lottery could fix both issues. Story 8. Throwback to the legendary Reddit thread about winning the lottery. Story 9. Buy land and make preparations for a family compound with Homes Farm water source security that will sustain me and my extended family when climate change, societal collapse starts to everything up. Story 10. Probably nothing. I would put the money in an investment fund and just live my life as I do now. Then I can retire in a few years and not have to worry about income. Story 11. We owe 60K on the house, so we'd pay that off. Then I'd start a record store and my wife would start a bookstore. We'd probably just combine the two. Story 12. I'd pay off my house and truck as they are the most financially taxing. Then I would invest a good portion. Last but not least, let my daughters have a day where we go to the store and they pick out whatever they want. Obviously a nice vacation with all of us as well. Story 13. A house. I think I'd start doing passion flip projects. Profit wouldn't matter much, so I could aim to break even as a hobby. So many beautiful homes here that have fallen into disrepair but have 100 unique floor plans and so much charm. Then just put them on market for the average cost per square foot in the neighborhood. Be selective, no investors with who I sell to, and don't destroy the prop values of the neighborhood by selling well outside the mean price. I've obviously thought about this, but it feels like a great way to keep yourself busy, learn profitable life skills if you lose it all, give back, and remain financially healthy as long as you break even. Story 14. I would buy as many golf courses I could afford around here in Seattle, close them, then donate all of them to the Washington Wildlife Federation so they can be repurposed as wildlife conservations for rehabilitation and outdoor education. Story 15. Nothing. Literally nothing. I just live like I do now but would quit the work. I just spend time with my dogs, play games, watch movies, eat out once a week, and probably get involved in some animal help stuff as a volunteer. Necessity of work is the worst part of life. Story 16. Very first thing would be all the different kind of cheese that I can find, some sourdough baguette, and different meat cuts. Maybe some grapes, olives, and such. Then call my friend and share all of that while discussing about where we should go take a vacation. After that, pay off debts, move somewhere warm, and live off from stock indexes. Story 17. I go have my last poverty meal, take a shower and rinse the poverty off me. Then I quit my job, get me a personal trainer, and take a ton of cooking classes. Then just ride the vibe off into the sunset. Story 18. The first thing may not be the most expensive, but an all-expenses-paid trip for my mum to the Grand Canyon. I'll hopefully look to finally be able to purchase a home for myself, and I'll no longer have to feel I need to hold on to this job. I could find a less stressful job with more pleasant people around, even if it means I have to move to another state. Story 19. My house, maybe? I'm not sure what would make sense. If it was only $1 million, I wouldn't be in a rush to spend it. I've always heard lotto winners mostly blow their winnings pretty quickly, even much larger sums. But that kind of money could legit improve your life if you're smart with it. But I'm not smart, so I'd have to go slow. But I have had my eye on this 300 LEGO Dungeons Dragons set. Story 20. Pay off the credit cards, get takeaway for dinner for the first time in years, and then sit back and think about the rest with a clean slate and a full belly. Story 21. Some place for my grandma to live that is clean and easy to get around with around-the-clock care. I don't want her health getting worse and dying in some shitty place that doesn't care about its residents like my grandpa did. And we would move to a place with better educational opportunities to my kids. Other than that, IDK. A good dinner, I guess. Story 22. Reduce my position to 50 immediately. Take my time, together with a competent financial advisor to securely invest my money, pay off our mortgages, plan the rest of my life. Story 23. If you win the lottery, you will be supported by private bank advisors to invest your assets and obtain a satisfactory income. In my case, I think I would travel to nice regions in Europe to find a nice villa, and I would help the people around me in my small way. Story 24. Index funds. Then perhaps shop for either a second vehicle or a fancy snow remover that the husband really would love. But I bet he'd go for a second car first. Story 25. I would move my mother wherever she would like to live and pay for her to live out the remainder of her days in pure bliss. I would buy my wife and I a new house with some land and just do fun all day. Story 26. New cell phone with a new number. Edit if it was like tens of millions. A single million. Everyone can know, and I can easily tell them to go away. I would just buy a house and still have a mortgage. Story 27. My husband and I have discussed this at length. 1. Pay off all debt, including our home. We will eventually move, but first things first. Eliminate the mortgage payment, interest, etc. 2. Hire a financial planner, wealth management firm, or whatever it's called. Clearly, I have no idea because we don't have wealth to manage currently. Make sure we're investing properly for growth, etc. 3. Hire a trust estate planning attorney and a tax attorney. Set up trust funds or whatever the appropriate accounts are for our children, nieces, nephews, and our niece-few don't come for me. Yes, they are trans, and they chose that designation when I asked them for their input on how to best describe our relation. The original one wasn't accurate, but my sister's child felt kind of cold and meh. I love it, personally. To cover higher education expenses and the whole generational wealth thing. Again, IDK exactly what happens here. BC, it's not our reality, currently. I don't want trust fund kids who don't know the value of money or hard work, but I also don't want them to struggle or worry about how they're going to eat when they should be focusing on enriching themselves and learning to best facilitate their futures, whatever that looks like. As long as they're not hurting themselves, others. And all that, of course. 4. Share with our families, parents, brothers, sisters, etc. 5. We would continue to work for the time being, but plan an exit from our employers, ASAP. 6. Take a 2-week vacation somewhere, anywhere, to rest and really let what's happened set in. 7. Purchase a forever home with acreage. We want a homestead. 8. Purchase a facility for my animal rescue and allocate funds for continuing operations. I currently run a 100 foster-based non-profit animal rescue. The goal is to have a facility to be able to help house more animals and also serve as a sanctuary for keeping animals we can shouldn't rehome, rehabilitation, animal hospice, etc. 9. Be charitable, anonymously. Fund causes close to our hearts. 10. Use this freedom and opportunity to help others. Be the good in the world. 11. Maybe stage a coup? I live in America, so not sure what that looks like, but I know I will need a noble steed, a sword, and a fancy hat. edited to add my husband's favorite priority 12. Hire a good criminal defense attorney because he is planning on punching right in their lousy faces at any all opportunities that present themselves. And we're talking child predator type, not bad driver type. He's a good man, not just looking to be a bully. Story 28. Probably fill my gas tank, then go buy all the groceries I've never been able to afford in one trip. Or go to a really nice dinner out with my family, then pay off my house within the next weeks. Story 29. I'm a teacher. I would put my winnings in a portfolio where it would draw interest perpetually and donate it all to my school district so we could be independently fully funded. All I want is to be able to do my job well and everyone has what they need. Story 30. I would get a lawyer to open a trust and name myself as the executor. I would then open an investment account in the trust name and invest 75-90 of winnings, depending on the size. Probably make a decent-sized dividend portfolio. I would probably hire an accountant for much of this. I would never sell. I would just get low-interest loans using the stock I own as collateral so that I wouldn't have a taxable event. With what I had left, I would purchase a chunk of land, about 20 acres, outside a decent-sized metro. Build a nice house that isn't absurd. I would put up a nice pole barn as well with heated floors, all owned by the trust. I would then portion off chunks of the lot, an apartment complex. Ideally, 12-20 units, probably finance this. I would put up a couple warehouses and rent them to companies I'd create under the trust. Adult beverage brewing, doggy daycare, child daycare, bar and grill depending on location, a butcher shop, wedding venue, hotel, etc. I would plan out the lot and slowly add businesses so that I could grow the trust without spending the money to take low-interest loans from. Slow and steady, and absolutely no outside equity. By the end, there should be a developed trust that will support my family for generations that is safe from private equity and the government. Story 31. Land. Lots of land. Oh, give me land. Lots of land under starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Story 32. Dinner. Student debt. Fix my current car. Buy a new car. Get my own place. And honestly, still work. I like the current job I have. Also, invest wisely. Story 33. One of those Scorpion gaming chairs. Being disabled, it might make it possible for me to use the computer more easily, and therefore I can get a lot more done. Maybe even WFH. Story 34. After all the boring back-end stuff is done or planned for to make sure this will go smoothly, I would have a nice relaxing dinner, followed by a few weeks of getting used to being able to sleep in every day until I die. Or just have something planned early, and if I can help it, that won't be happening very much.